So tonight I am working on PileUp. PileUp is something I made some time ago in D3 and Python. It's a small note-taking application that talks to CouchDB, which is a NoSQL database that has some really nice replication properties. And I have that running locally on my machine, and I'm interested in porting it to Smalltalk because I've been working in Smalltalk and I have some user interface components that look very similar to that, or at least have some kind of similar interaction to that. And I really like working in the Smalltalk environment, especially this one is called Glamorous Toolkit. And so I'm going to port this nice little green, seafoam green application over to Smalltalk. So that's the plan. It's a very small application. It's not very well fleshed out. It's not open source yet. Although I guess the Smalltalk will probably be up on my GitHub repository once this is done. So what this does right now, in this version, it runs in a browser. And the idea is that you can take notes. So you say, hello, world, or whatever your note is. And then eventually it comes down here, and you can say something else. Hopefully it goes a little faster this time, yeah. For some reason, it takes some time to warm up. Then you can take these notes, and I think there's some UI bugs. I'm going to refresh the page just in case. And you can take these and you can drag them out of this list. And so now something else is floating around in this canvas. And then you have little notes and you have graphs and to-do list, right? Then you can take them and organize them. So you can take them and like drop them onto this tasks pile. Maybe. Okay. Well, you're supposed to be able to drop them onto this task pile. Okay. The pile. Let's see. The point of a pile is that you can navigate to things, and you can make these little like these dark green things are just kind of, what would you call them? Visual components they're just like places to put things. They don't do anything yet. Although the intent was that you could put a bunch of things on here. So I was just mocking up a weekly planner. This is a joke, right? It's pure song. I'm not going to sing it here, but sometimes I sing it at karaoke. And then you can drag them around. But what should happen is if you take this and drop it on here, well, that is unfortunate. Because that is the whole point of this application. I have to wonder what's going on here. Off to a rough start. I was expecting this to be the short part of the thing. Nothing in the console. And in the network, what happens when I do this? Yeah, it should have said, it put something. But what's meant to happen is it's okay. Huh. I don't really know what to make of that. Well, in any case, you can also do things like you can, like I said, this is why this is not like, open source or anything. So you can say align left. This is not ready for prime time. It's just a little prototype I use, but you can align right if you want to line them up in different ways. It has this little sizer thing. You can resize the nodes. And they do act like links, but you're also supposed to be able to, maybe you can probably work, but that's annoying. I drop it on the PileUp. Okay. All right, well. Okay, so I clearly broke something. I wonder if you can drop this back on the phone. Oh, oh right. The idea was you go here. Ah, wow. I did have something there. It said list view, right? It said list view, and it's probably behind here somewhere. Ah, that's annoying. Okay, well, this is like the worst demo ever. But you can kind of get the idea of what it's meant to do. So you put things in a list, and these are meant to be like persistent things. And the idea is that you have your like pristine to-do list or whatever, and then you have incoming changes. So when you drop something onto a pile here, it winds. What should happen is this little thing here, when I dropped it here, should wind up on this list over here, the inbox for this node, for this page. And that way you have a clean separation between things that you have curated and arranged nicely versus the things that you haven't really processed yet. And it still allows you to categorize things. And I have other ideas for how I wanted this to work, but like this was the basic idea, something I've wanted for a really long time. And I made this little prototype, and as you can see, it's very buggy and not very well fleshed out. It's basically one little, the source code is like I said, it's not open source, but I'm happy to show off this source code here. It's actually this. I'm actually looking at it right now. This editor. Sadly, not syntax highlighted for some reason in Emacs, but it's just one HTML file with CSS up at the top and some. It's actually D3. I use D3 as the drawing tool, and I kind of regret that. Yeah, I probably would use Vue or React or something like that today if I did it again. But I was trying to be simple, and I get kind of like this sick feeling whenever I install Vue, even though I really like it. It just, whenever I install something like that, it downloads 800 megabytes of JavaScript. A ridiculous amount of JavaScript. Anyway, so that's the application, and now I have this page. This is just a note page, like a note. So this is Glamorous Toolkit. This is a new user interface for Smalltalk. You can get it at gtoolkit.com. Gtoolkit. Yeah, I think. Yeah, Glamorous Toolkit. Download this. You get the whole Smalltalk environment, and you get this. And it comes with this. Oops! It comes with this tool called Lepeter. Lepeter is a note-taking application, and it sort of becomes your start page. So this is very, in some ways, similar to like a Jupyter notebook, but it's Smalltalk based and much more interactive than a notebook. So that you'll see that things happen. So this is actually some code I wrote, and there's meant to be a little button here, but you can see an example of what this all looks like here. So this is a page. There's like a table of contents over here, and for like all the other pages in the notebook, right? It's a multi-page notebook, or like a website kind of thing. So this is although it's not on the web, but you can publish it on the web. So what I did here is I made you can embed different snippets here, and in addition to embedding text and code, you can also embed pictures and elements and examples and whatnot. And I embedded an element, I think. So it's supposed to have a little button here that lets you show the code for that element, but it doesn't. So you can actually inspect this thing, and now I'm inspecting the snippet, and now I can actually pull up a little REPL and talk to it. So show coder. And whenever this here is also a Leopard page, and it is remembering the last thing I did with this kind of object, which was to hide and show the coder because I was having this exact same problem. So if I run this, it's going to show the source code for this. And I don't know why that there's just sometimes this little button shows up here. Sometimes if you toggle the inspector, it shows up. So whatever. All right, well, it's not here. But, and I also clicked on something, so I lost that view. But see, that this little button is what's supposed to happen. In any case, okay, I should make this, since I do this often enough, until they fix this bug, I should do it like this, right? And I can. So anyway, the point is, it's very interactive. Even this is a small talk environment. This is what the button is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be there by default. Anyway, so what I did is I wrote this chunk of small talk that says. I actually posted this as an example somewhere, so I was showing. I have this little comment here, telling people what to do with this. The idea is you make an inspector, which is one of these things, or rather, this is the inspector, and we're going to make it. What we're going to inspect is this dictionary. And what I did is I just said, well, okay. Yeah, so this is at key put value, right? So you see the word top here is mapping to this. So these are the keys and these are the values. It says at top put this directory. So when I click on this, I actually get the directory. And then, so now that's an object with the name PileUp. And then when I say, then for app, I can actually use that, and I use a little /. So that sends a message to PileUp that has this string as an argument. And so it actually gives me a reference to that file. So I can, so that file here, I can actually see the source code. And it knows how to syntax highlight Python source code, and you can see it as raw text or inspect it in different ways. But it's just a reference to that file, and it can do things. So that this will, if I click meta, it actually shows me information about the file reference class. So I'm going to make my head a little smaller so that you can see more of the screen. Okay. So hang on one second. Okay, so so then I was trying to answer the question for myself. How can I use this tool to inspect a project and see interesting things about it? So I didn't have the actual HTML file there, but I could add that, right? So I could say at HTML, put PileUp, and then I believe it's static, and you can either use slashes or probably just say static index.html. And if I refresh this, now that should show up there. So if I click that, I should get this content. And this is not parsed for some reason. Although I'm sure there's a parser for this. I'm not going to mess with that right now because I'm not really trying to show this. But then I have my config. Okay, there's my password. I don't mind sharing that because you can only access this from this machine, and that's the password I made up for this machine. So, and the database name is PG Weegems. That's a nickname for my little girl, and that was the first thing that came to mind when I was making the database. So, PG Weegems database, and this is some Python code. Actually, at one point I actually fix the little parser here to recognize that as a keyword, but forgotten. I guess I didn't save that change, or it's not loaded at the moment. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now the more interesting thing is now at couch, I actually have a CouchDB object. So now this is an object that I can use to talk to that couch database. So, for example, if I run this, I'm able to inspect the home page for that document. So it knows what database I'm in and all this stuff. This is just like a little wrapper class that I made. Oh, I got something else I can show. If you've been watching these things for a while, you control click on this. This is not what I did. What I did is I made this little thing. It's a browser. It's still a work in progress, but the idea is you can click on it and you know, you have this view over here of like the hierarchy and all the, this says classes, and you got methods and slots and other things, and it's a little small and it's hard to read, and especially when you have lots of, well, also it goes away. You can only have this expanded thing on the left, but here you can have any class you're looking at. You can click on this and you get this little browser, shows like its lineage, and then it says protocol, this says methods, and so then you can see the methods that you've defined on that class. The intent is to eventually have it also show all the parent methods anyway. So you can see that there's a initialize, there's an inspector, so really. So you can see I added, what did I do? I added print for and home for. So oh, this one is home. Right, and what I did for print is I hid the print, because usually this says, it shows you how you would print that object, and I didn't need that. It just says like a CouchDB, like it says exactly what it says up here. It says this, so I don't see any reason to have that view for something so small. So I told that to be, actually if I click it here, then I can see it here, right? Did you print for a view? I just made it an empty view, and then but you can also do this here. Anyway, that's something I made to just kind of enhance the browsing experience and make it a little bit more like a more traditional Smalltalk browser. And work in progress. Okay, enough of that. Let's actually get to work. So when I call self-find here in this little REPL, you see it's actually taking whatever I passed in. So I passed in a dictionary, or rather an association list, that is mapping the string _ID to the string at home, and it takes that array and converts it into a dictionary. So these things, this message makes an association. So this is an array with one item in it, and that one item is an association. And you could add more by, you know, saying, you know, like 5 maps to, you know, whatever, but I'm not going to. And then I click that little arrow to open this up. So this is converted to a dictionary, and then we wrap it. We wrap it in a new dictionary. So this, where does that end? Oh, right here. Formatting is a little off here. It probably should be indented to like 2 spaces. Yeah, that would have been better. Okay, so you can see like this whole thing is a dictionary that I'm creating here, and this is JSON, and this JSON is being posted to the find URL. So the URL is this URL for the CouchDB, and so if you don't know what couch is, so you can, you know, once you have couch installed, you can just go to so this machine is called Rincewind 5984, or you can do localhost or whatever, and I think you say /_util. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay, so if I just, oh, but yeah, that's how you log in. util index.html. Ah, come on. Utils, maybe? There we go. So now we can log in. Sure, let's save that. And you can see all these databases. And if you click on it, you can see all the things that are in the database. And if you click on home, you can actually see the JSON. So they're just JSON blobs. And generally they have, you know, names like randomly generated hashes, and or maybe not even hashes, just randomly generated names, UUIDs, I guess. And then they have a revision. So this has to do with the replication and version control system. So every little note has its own revision. And you just post whatever JSON you want there. And this, you know, this is not magic or anything. This is just something I'm using in that application to say this is linked to that. You just make up your own schema. So very free-form database called a document database. A document can be something as small as this is a document, just a little JSON dictionary. That's the idea. And it's got a query language that I don't really know all that much about, but you can do very simple things like, you know, run this query, okay. And yeah, but you can also just get this as straight JSON. So if you go to / if you just go to the top level, you get JSON describing the database here. And if you say, okay, well, I happen to know my database, I bet you can say like DBs or something. Nope. I wouldn't want to guess. I should look at the docs, right? But, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me at all because I know what mine is called PG region. Right. Okay. And then home. Yeah. So now you can actually see the content stored at that node. If I want to see what that is, that's a list of something. Okay, so maybe this pile would show me something else. I thought they had the actual labels in it, so I guess I don't. I thought I actually was replicating all the labels in there. But basically the idea, so this is my data. This is my data for that homepage. So when you're looking at this home, right, this is what it fetched from the server. And so these are all the cards that are on there. You can, I think C stands for class. Yeah, so the class, right, so it's got an ID, which is this long thing. It's got a class, which is a list, and then it's got coordinates, and it's got width and height. And that is the information that is necessary to make this scene. Plus, it needs to look up all those IDs and actually get the value back. And I think what I did is I made something in the server that reads this and so when you talk to my middleware, excuse me. I'm actually talking to a Python server here that is then talking to CouchDB on my behalf rather than talking directly to CouchDB. So I put like a little API in the middle, very, very thin middleware there. Because in general, you wouldn't want your database exposed to the world. I'm just showing that it happens to be, you know, you wouldn't want your users to be able to do this basically, because they can go in there and manage your database, right? So that's not good. Whereas with a little app server, you can do some very simple proxying, I guess. You filter it. Anyway, you can extend the API as you want. It was very, very simple to do that. It was really nice. So Yeah, so I'm using this thing called, I think it's called Quart, which is just an asynchronous version of something that called Flask, which is a Python web framework. So it makes it really easy to make these little APIs. But if you want the async keyword, then you use Quart instead. I don't know if there was any particular reason to do that. I just was experimenting. And oh, look, Emacs doesn't even know that match is a keyword now, or case. I had to add that to the parser in Smalltalk as well. Anyway, so yeah, so here's where it's actually getting the items. The items know what pile they're in, so they don't. So you get that list of items, and then you there's like a join being done in the JavaScript side that matches the list of items to the where they go on the screen and fills them in. And that's basically it. I'm not going to dig too much to the code right now because I'm just going to port it, and then we can dig through the pieces as we go, and we'll get these fixed along the way. Okay, so so anyway, that's what's happening here. Is we're making a request to the find endpoint that comes with Couch. A ZN client is like it's called Zinc. Zinc is a client that, or is a HTTP library for Smalltalk. So the ZN client lets us open a URL, which we already have somewhere up here. Tells it that we want JSON and we're going to post it. So we're going to post this, or sorry, we're going to post that JSON, and then we're going to get back JSON from my app server. And then we're going to return the parsed JSON. So we're going to parse it into Smalltalk data structure. I said my app server, but no, this is actually talking directly to Couch. So one difference I'm making here is that I wanted to get rid of that app server, because for local development, I was thinking that maybe I would put it up on the web for anybody to use, but I find I haven't done that yet, and just for my own local use, it's annoying to like fire up the app server, and it's also annoying to keep it running all the time. But I don't know, because it so crashes, and I still need to change it if I want to do anything. So anyway, I'm going to get rid of the app server, or at least in this version, in this port, it's not going to have the app server. So I'm talking directly to Couch, and so I'm directly asking for the find, and in this case, I'm just passing in what I want, right? So the idea is I'm passing in whatever the selector is going to be. I guess I didn't save that next to the indentation. And then sort it by timestamp, and then limit it to 100. I don't know if I need to limit it to 100, but whatever. Maybe that'll confuse me later. So anyway, when I run that, I get some JSON back, and it looks like this. So there are no... Oh, okay, so my request did not work. Why didn't it work? I guess I should use one of those, what's the thing called? Postman? Yeah, Postman. I have that installed. Postman is an app for dealing with a REST API, so you can, it's basically a browser for REST. All right, so we're going to look at, oh, look at that. But it's actually OK3. All right, so this is what's coming in from the server. All right, and so I'm sending find. Oh, wait, nope. Okay. pgwegems underscore find, and we want to post, and The body is going to be JSON. If I want. Okay, so JSON there. All right, and I want to post the code that I was making over here. Right, so I hadn't actually, let me just double check that I don't actually have that right. I do have a find method. Oh yeah, I have the find method, but it's not working. Okay, so if I just have it return JSON here. Unreachable code, yeah, I know it's unreachable. Yeah, I know it's unreachable. I find that very annoying. You have to comment. Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense though. Because you can't. Oh no, it doesn't make sense. You can't have invalid code saved as a method because the method is compiled and the thing that's actually gets stored is the bytecode for that method. But you should be able to return early. I don't know why you can't. Anyway, so if I run this, this will give me the JSON that's being sent. So I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to get rid of that. So first I'm going to copy that and paste that in here, and just duplicate the issue, right? We send that. Yeah, this is the error we get. So I got to figure out what I did wrong. And what I thought I was doing is find type equals pile, text equals, no. Okay. Client get key. So if I go into couch.py, this is the Python client that I wrote, very, very small. And this get path. Okay, so no. Hang on one second. I should start here with the utils. Okay, so this run a query, selector ID, and let's paste this in. Paste this in here. Same thing, right? Gonna side by side. We have a selector, and we have ID, and it said greater than. Okay. So the difference is that this says greater than null. Maybe I have to put an equal in there, like EQ or something. No documents found. ID. Let's put this in here. Did I do that right? No. Yes, I did, but it's nested, so this is. I'm not. I know this is how everybody else likes to read braces. I read braces. Okay, that's right. I like it like this. But whatever, it's gonna go away. So if I say equal to home, no documents found. you can just go to the ID. And this says ID is home. Right, so something's wrong with my find syntax, because you should be able to just do that. But hang on a second. Fine. Only post is allowed. Right, so that's why I was doing this. Post. The number of documents examined is high in proportion to the number of results returned. Consider adding a more specific index to improve this. Okay, well, how about this? I thought I'd already removed this. Right, I'm rather than just floundering and trying to figure out. First of all, let's just try ID. We have to save this as dictionary, right? Greater than. I can't say, I don't know how to say null. Maybe just say nil. And then I need an end curly brace for the. I gotta save this, so it's not just returning the JSON anymore. Yeah, so that worked. Okay, greater than or equal to. No, that's not allowed. That is very strange. Okay, well, I do have GT home for. Oh no, that was this home button. It has nothing to do with. This is just pure couch. I'm looking for. All right, so let's just write. Rather than find, let's make a new method. Let's make a copy of find. So fetch, what do we call it? Get an ID, a couch ID. Right, so we're going to save that. Right, so since you can just pass the name in, we can just do that. Or really, this could be any string, a string, right? Because you could just pass in whatever string you want. A string, and we're not putting in an entity. And I think we can just say get here in that case. And then return that. But I do need a temporary variable called JSON. Well, maybe. Or I could just inline all this. But this needs parens. I think you need a trailing period. Okay. So now let's just say we can just make a new little doohickey and say self get home. And Control G to do it and inspect it. There we go. So there's the home page. What if I say pile is home? This should give me everything that's in that pile I think we can just say home. Operator for closer, yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is the purpose for the find endpoint in this client, right? It's to be able to call it to get all these things. So these are the two queries I need to do to construct a page. So docs is a list that contains all the items that would be on the page. So there's something else, hello world, so on. So is docs is the only key. All right, so get home, and I think we say at docs. Key docs not found in dictionary. Maybe it's a symbol. What is going on? It's a dictionary with a key docs. It is a string. Oh, because I'm doing the wrong one. I need to be doing this one up here. Okay. Can I move this down yet? Okay. I'm trying to click the little, there we go. So what this needs to turn into an object. We'll say so wrap this here. Say docs is equal to this. So then we don't need friends. And we'll say docs collect. And that's how you do a for each. So we'll say each of those, and we're going to do what? What were we going to do? We're going to turn each of them into a PileUp It's actually a very painful view to look at it. We can look at it in here. So rather, pile is equal to home. Now query. So what I want to do is I want to make it into something, but I have to check this type, right? To see if it's a pile, a list, or just nothing. We'll call it a node, a pile, or a list. What, a card or a scrap? What do I call them in the code here? Scrap. No, card. Add scrap to scene. Scrap. So what's the difference? What was my? Okay, I see. So the scraps are the things that are in the inbox, and then they become cards when you drag them to the canvas. Okay, so they're called cards. So this is actually a card. Can't edit the selection, so it doesn't notice that there's only one thing in the selection. This is a card. Card. But hang on, okay, so when I go over here, I say, what's scraps? No, scene. Model. It says it has no scraps. Interesting. Okay. I don't know if you can read this at all. I'm just inspecting the code here. Why was I expecting? These are called items here. Crumbs are the crumbs to the breadcrumbs to the page. Oh, this is one of the reasons I want to do it in here. You know, because you have this view where you create new views off to the side, that they're little pages, so you can keep growing things off to the right. I want to do that for this application. So that was the idea. One of the reasons for doing it. The other was just like I'm exercising this library I'm making. Okay, well, so let's just call it a PileUp card for now. Oh. Oh, so the reason I pulled this up was I wanted to look in. I should make this a separate window. I can Alt Tab to it, right? That's what I keep pausing on the Alt Tab because I can't see the. Kind of like how Microsoft Edge lets you Alt Tab through the actual browser tabs, along with all your other windows. You don't have to mentally track which things are windows and which things are browser tabs. So what I'm looking for is that thing that said where it said had the letter C, right? Oh, the scene has, okay. So the question is why is this one gray? What's different about this one that makes it different from everything else? They're all cards. This one does not have. This one is not marked as a card. Whatever reason, it's not marked as a card. It's the only one that isn't. Right? They're all cards except for that one. This one is not marked as a card. And put it to the inbox. Drag it back on here. Now it's a card. Okay. All right. So the class is card. But hang on. What? Oh. Okay, so the model, the current pile, model pile scrapped. Scene. Right, and these all have the same structure, so you can say console table model pile scene, and now you can get it as a table. And I have these highly informative names because they're JavaScript, and I don't like to. Here's where I was saying it does this join thing, right? So let me finish the sentence, right? I'm sending data back and forth, and I don't want to clutter up the screen and make the JSON huge by writing out class and height and width and x and y would be that. I tend to use very short names. And so O is the object. That actually doesn't come along in the in the JSON. When you just fetch this page, you get basically all of this. This is called a scene. And then I do that second request to fetch all the items, the individual documents that are that have the pile set to whatever pile I'm looking at. And then I do do a loop through those documents, and for each one of those, I add the object to the appropriate slot in the scene. So I do a join based on its ID. I find that ID in the scene, and then I grab the object. Probably there's a dictionary involved for quick lookup somewhere in that way. And so I take this and I add this column, and it's not showing what that is, but it's the O is the actual data for that value. Right, so I'm going to have to do that step in Smalltalk. I'm going to have to combine these two things to get. See, because the question is, well, I have a bunch of things in the scene, but I don't know what their lists or piles. I don't know what to make or how to style them. So I need to do both of these two requests together, do this join, and then it will tell me what to draw, what style to use. But I don't think I need to make a separate class for each one of these styles, or each one of these things. I think they're just going to be like one class for all of them, but they'll just have a different style tag associated with them. Or the styling will be data driven. It's just something you add to it. The user interface library I'm using is based on composition rather than inheritance for the most part. So I really don't even need to make a class at all, but I am going to make one class that's just like a builder. And then, you know, these different looks and feels will be somehow associated with that. Okay. Also, so it'll be kind of nice in this version, everything on the right-hand side of the screen is SVG, and everything on the left-hand side of the screen is HTML. So HTML has nice layout, like putting everything in a row. SVG, you don't really have that, right? You don't have the flow layout. But it's much harder to drag these around than it is to drag these around. Whereas with the Smalltalk user interface library, it's all just easy. And of course, I can get similarly easy if I made some smart widgets in like Vue or something rather than or React or whatever, rather than trying to do everything. Anyway, I'm rambling. All right, let's go. All right, so what did I learn here? Just that, yeah, this is not important right now. This was just that this particular query doesn't work. You can't just select ID equals home. For whatever reason, for reasons I do not actually understand, because that really should be a valid search, but whatever. Okay. All right, so let's do this join thing. But do that rather than directly using this. I don't want to be adding this to the I don't want to add it to the generic CouchDB thing. I want to add it to my thing. So let's join these two together. Oh, I guess in here you just press enter. The way the splitting works is is different between the coding and the text. Like it's actually reversed. So sometimes you have to press like in here you press enter and you get a new line. In a text one, you press enter and it starts a new thing, and you have to press like control enter to keep it together. And here it's the exact opposite. You want to break it, you press control enter. So it's a little back. I don't like that. I don't like that inconsistency. Okay, I'll get used to it. Okay, so what do we do here? I don't need this anymore. This has everything I need except I was going to actually get rid of this nonsense stuff down here because this was just for the demonstration. So I get rid of the nested. Oh, somebody's watching. Hello. Welcome. All right, so if I refresh this, then that should go away. And I don't need this little code view anymore. I'm going to hide the code. Oops. Right. Here. And hide this. Okay. So I actually want this application. And this is the live thing. So here's an inspector for the live thing. And if I hit DB and inspect that, I'll get the CouchDB that I was just looking for. So this is really like the same as self-DB. It's the same thing. And what do we want to do with it? We want to query the CouchDB for the two things I just did. So if I open this up, it should have the notes remembered because it's the same kind of class. I should be able to say, just copy this over here. And I don't need to say self-DB. So let's say db get home and db find. If I do that one, what do they give me? The last one? That gave me the last one. So you have to actually select it. And Control G, and then it just runs that one piece. That's cute. And then if you Control G or you hit this thing, you get the whole thing. I want both of them. So that just puts them in an array and see what happens. And so now we've got a tree and we got both of them. And let's give them some names. So the first thing we're going to do is call this the first one. Wait, we got item 1 and item 2. So item 1 is a thing that has a scene in it. Scene and a type. Is that exactly the same as what I have in model over here? Model, pile. All right, so model.pile is what? Model.pile. Item, scene, and a type. Okay. as a scene and a type, but no items. Because we're going to merge the items in here. So this one is called items. Items, but we want this, we want the doc. So items is this. And pile is this. So we run that, nothing should be different, except I've just, as a side effect, given these names. Variable names in the scope here, over here. So in fact, let's get rid of this, and now we'll just make a new thing that says pile and items, and then that should again be the same. We don't even need the dot. In the same, but we're going to say pile at items, put items. And now instead of 1 and 2, oh wait, really we want first. This is going to give me a list of documents, right? No, sorry. It's only wrapped in a list because I explicitly wrapped it in a list. I'm just hallucinating. Okay, so this is correct. Pile at items, put items. And I think when I run this, I get back the whole pile. Right? Nope, I don't. So I want to say pile. Right, there we go. So I've seen items and type, which I believe seen items and type. So now I've matched that. I don't have the revision. Oh, I do. Okay. I just didn't say it out loud. So ID and revision are things that are internal to CouchDB. The revisions are not like a version control. Well, they're a little bit of a version control thing, but they don't keep all the revisions. They're only used for replication, as far as I know. You can't like see a version history. Maybe you can, I don't know. But it's not designed that way. Okay, so let's look at the code. What did I do in JavaScript where I make that a little bigger? Let's say items. I don't know why I'm looking at it in this VS Code, where it'll actually highlight, syntax highlight it for me. And PileUp. So I tried to approach the same. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay. This. No, I'll do it later. Okay, so what's my question? My question is, what do I do with kind of a low contrast theme, isn't it? Come on. Locked up. The most important part of coding is color coding all your editors. That's too dark. That's too green. Green and joy are green. Oh. Whatever. That's good enough. Sure. Nice and dark. Okay. So somewhere along here, I do a join, and I think I just make a dictionary of all the items. So let's see. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So jfetch, this is fetch with JSON, so fetch and wrap it in JSON. This is all the collision detection, so when you drag to see if something is over something and drop it on something else. Okay. Default scene, cross scene. No commands, hide selection. This is all this. See, all the things I had to do for the drag and drop visual stuff that I'm doing for my sketch game. I call it game sketchlib. In Smalltalk, like half the code is the same as this, except in different language, but the same logic. Selection and overlapping and all that stuff. So it just seemed natural to port this to this new framework. But I'm not seeing. I didn't see where I did that. So I'm gonna say jfetch. Where did I call jfetch? Okay, so that's where I get the pile, and that's where I send the pile. I want to get. So jfetch p. So fetch that pile. Then with the data. Type this pile. Okay. And so if there isn't a scene, then we create the default scene, which I think has the home page in it. Right, so basically, this needs to be the ported to Smalltalk. We're in scene. So let's. I'm just copying this. I'm going to port this to Smalltalk. And I'm going to make it a note because it's got double quotes in it, and so I can't put it in a comment. Oh no, it doesn't have double quotes. I can make it a comment. But wait, no, why did it drop the quotes? Oh, the backticks are being interpreted as markdown. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't have quotes, so I can paste it in here. Okay. I could paste it in there anyway, but it would just, I'd have to escape the quotes. Because double quotes are the comment character in Smalltalk. Okay, so this is going to be, so this is going to be called fetch pile, right? Fetch pile a name, get pile. And it's going to get the pile from CouchDB. Okay, so we're going to build a model. So we'll call it model. And return model, and model is going to be what? Dictionary new. Okay. So first we're going to get that information. Oh, we could even do like this, like as dictionary. All right, so instead of pile here, we're going to say pile and like that. But not home, we want a name, right? Or an ID. A couch ID. A couch ID. Okay. Then copy that was this line. And we did the fetching by using db get. So now we're done with that. Previously, I hit /p. Oh, I see. So the part of that join is actually done in this thing. This is my app server, so I have to look at the Python code as well. So we'll say app.py. Yeah, so here when we get pile, all right. I could talk to this app server, but I want to get rid of the app server. I don't want to have to run the app server all the time. So I'm porting the logic of the app server to Smalltalk. And in theory, I could serve this as, through Seaside, the Python or the Smalltalk web framework. Okay. And then I could use that same D3 client, right? So I could do it. That's a story for another day. Okay, so first we're going to find type equals pile, text equals key. Right, because the idea was you want to get by name. Right? You don't want to find pile D394, 800 characters, right? So you want to find pile by name. So this would be like get pile by ID. And the key is that. And then, okay. Items. And then in the second request, we do this. Okay, so yeah, that really was it. All right, so we're gonna call this get pile by ID, and then there'll be another method down here. Now we don't need this. It's just the to do get pile by name, a name. Okay, but for home, the ID is the name. So home is a magic thing that gets created automatically. You can give the ID. You can choose whatever the ID is if you want. And so I create home on its own. Yeah, I think when the app starts up or something. I don't know where it is. Anyway, so we're going to get the couch ID, and so we actually don't have to do this. So that was from seeing pwitch, but the only thing it does extra is items, which we're about to do on this side. So, like that's this line right here. So now we'll do that right here. Wait, what? Right. So actually, we want just this. Or we could give it a name. Right? We can give it a temporary name. Oh, okay. Let's do it. Like, yeah. I don't think we need a wrapper here for that. We just call it pile, right? So it's just this line. The pile equals get that thing, and then we're going to add items to it. So just double check what we get over here. And inspect the DB. So whatever we get here, how about we just say get home? We get home. So this is what's going to come back from here. So we're going to say db get whatever the ID is. We'll get this thing that has a key, and then we're going to add items to it. So, which is exactly what this says right here. And do we need a name for it? Yes, we do. So we're going to say pile and items. We need a name for it because I want to loop through this and stitch it up together. I'm gonna loop through the items and do something with it. So surely the ID is what's stored in the database, right? Surely I was smart enough to do that. Okay. Go. Right, but that's home. So this is a pile. The question is there one for the? Right. How can I edit that? I have to copy it. Run query. And so the question is it? But I didn't get one. Did I get one that was a pile? I don't know. Make sure. Okay, so let's find the one where this is PileUp, right? Run documents 1 through 20. Okay, that's what this. Basically, everything on this screen that, like all these scraps and then all of these are what we're looking at here in data form. So this is what I want. Like I know this one is a pile that has stuff in it. Right? So now I want to see this thing. And the question is it saved? My question is it saved as the ID being, or the pile being PileUp? And I think the answer is no. And instead it's some internal ID, which is this. So this is the PileUp node. And if I take its ID and I put it in here, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting to get like all this data. And I do. Okay. So it is an ID. And that means we use the same identifier as that. And I could have looked at the code and done this. Okay. That's the Python code. All right, so then we'll return pile here. So this is not a method. I'm just typing code. This you can't. I mean, like it doesn't do anything to return it. But we can say a couch ID is equal to home. Oh, but we can do it up here. We can do that in a separate little namespace. You can't put anything before this. You can't put assignments before that. This is only valid as the very first thing in a snippet or a method or whatever. This is where you declare your local variables. And here I'm just not declaring them. Right, so now I have home is a couch DB. That's in that scope. And then I can just run this and it'll work. Right, it's as if I'm calling this method, the method that I'm going to build. Okay, so maybe I'll do this at the top so that I'm right. So I'm building this get pile ID by ID method. Okay, so far I have done this by this got translated into here, and I have the data now. I just called a pile directly. Okay, and that's that. Now I'm adding the piles. Do I need that? No, that would be a method called piles. So we can add that later if we need it. All right, but now have a scene. It does have a scene. But what's the question? Pile has key. Actually, we can just click on this. No, this is what I want. This one. So self has key. All right, how do you say has key in Smalltalk? You can say at if absent. Contains maybe? No. Hash collection. Keys for includes. Includes key. Yeah, okay, so includes key. All right, so pile includes key. Let's move this down to the to-do area. Oops. Okay, so if it doesn't contain a scene, then scene is there an if? There's at if absent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if at if absent probably returns the if absent put is what I want. Yeah, if it doesn't exist. Okay, so I should use my browser for this, because then they're grouped. Okay. Includes key. Yeah. All right. Well, the problem with this is you have. I mean, you can filter it in different ways, and you can like do this to filter it and all this stuff, but if you're just looking, if you don't know what you're looking for, which is often my issue, then it's easier to just like be able to see everything grouped by topic, right? Which you can also do here, but this is faster. Like you can choose you don't have a list of categories, right? So now you can pick one, then you see that, but now you have to do it again, and I don't know. The same feature is exactly the same, but I just seems for browsing, it's just much faster. That's why I made this thing and hope to make it a little faster. Hey there, welcome back. Yeah, I had my daughter here for a while, so I haven't been. She's 2 years old, and so she's quite a handful. So I wasn't able to stream very much. I have the house to myself tonight, so welcome back. All right, so let's see. Pile. Okay, so if absent put, then this is what I want, and I need to translate this. Oh, we got 2 people watching. So that must be you. So hello, both of you. Okay, so in scene, if anything not in the if scene data scene equals default scene. So this will be self default scene, and that just will not exist for now. How about new default scene? Okay, then that's that line. All right, so now this is the join. So in scene, do like a relational join. What would you call it? A left join? A left join. A left join. Okay, so in scene is dictionary new. Scraps. Right. Okay. So what's happening here is that when you do this, this is your inbox. So these are the things that you're going to eventually put into your scene here, but you probably want to drag them. Like, ideally, the very top level doesn't have any like notes floating around here. These all get dragged and stuck into some category, and then you go to that category, and then you say, well, okay, those things go to a new category. Try this stuff. Maybe we'll I'll stick to the file. So anything like this might be too cluttered, and so now I want to start dragging that into the table view, right? And then if I go to the table view, then that's got notes that are specific to that little subtopic and so on. And so the idea is that you're taking all these little notes and scraps and putting them in different places. Okay, I mentioned that earlier, but so this part is the scene, and then this part is the inbox. And so when you do the query in CouchDB, you just see that you just get all of this stuff, and you have to decide which ones are in the scene and which ones are not, which ones are in the inbox. And so these are scraps, and then these are parts of the scene. But the only way you know what's in the scene is by doing this first fetch. So when you get this, you get this thing called the scene, which is actually just like a JSON document, or JSON blob that describes the X, Y, width and height and the class of the items, and then says which ID it is. So I'm joining this ID to the actual data for that ID. And so here I'm adding this O field here. So So let's see. So that's, or rather, anything not in the scene is a scrap. Anything not in scene is a scrap. All right. Inbox scrap. Okay. So now, so data scene for each. Let's report this line. So that would be I think actually I could say in scene is equal to oh, see, I even needed this. So okay, so if absent put, then we say okay, so in scene is equal to and then we're going to say collect. So all this says this thing. And then, so now we have a scene, and whatever's in that scene, we're going to, no, we're not. Yeah, collect. And then, so we're reporting this, right? So then, so that's a block. And with the thing D. And so in, oh, so it's going to be D at ID. So that string, so this, get this thing, and then we're going to associate that with D itself. Right. Okay. So that's that. And we don't need this anymore. Then to make it a dictionary, this, I'm going to say as dictionary. So if I do this, then so we have an array now, and if I do it again, now we have a dictionary. That's what I want. Okay. So do a left join. I would say left join scene with items. So the scene has all the things that are in the scene, and then all the items may or may not be in the scene. So that's a left join in a database parlance. Anything not in the scene is an inbox scrap. Right, so there we go. And then we don't actually figure out which ones are scraps here. Do I, Okay, so this is not the left join part. This is the thing used to make. Okay, so now let's actually do the left join. So the left join is this, where we're adding a column called O. Right, so data, which is actually pile. So pile Looks like what now? Looks like this. I lost my code, so I don't know what items was. So, not this one. I'm looking for. So, items is what? Oh, items came from Python. Yes. All right, so got it. Okay, so items is the. Okay. Part of my problem is this should be up here. Okay, and then pile at items, put items. And we'll just merge these two together. Okay. All right, so items do p ref. This is not small talk, sorry. So ref is going to be in scene at the hat ID. There's a method called at on a dictionary, but these aren't nested dictionaries. These are just two dictionaries with similar keys in them. So really we want this at and if present, right? So at if present, and then do something. But I need to see how that method works. So really, so I should just browse dictionary. So B to browse that, and then I'll click my little browser, accessing at if present. At if present. Look up the given key in the receiver. If it is present, answer the value of evaluating the given block, optionally with the value associated with the key. Right, that's what I expect. So a block, and then that block can contain the value. Or that block can take the value as a parameter, which is what I want. And so that's what I'm calling ref. And then we'll say ref at O put a little more readable, I think. Okay, and then home O. I think that's something that needs what is this for? If model file ID is not equal to home, then we expect, okay. Okay, so the idea would be we have a internal thing called home ID, and that is home. Okay, and it's a constant because it used to be called like inbox. So they say not equal. I think, oh, I do know that. It's this. So okay. Well, I guess at first I should test if this actually works. Name already exists. Name already defined, right? Because it's there. Evaluate this whole thing. Control name already defined. Oh, okay, so it's not a local variable. It's the argument to this block. Okay. Now my scene should have, each one of these should have an O in it. Yes, and it does. And that's the data for the thing. That's the left join is complete. That worked. And then, so what do we call it? What am I doing here? Patch. I don't think this is necessary. All it's doing is, oh, I see. It's making a fake model for that. Right. Okay. So add a fake model for any for the link back to home. So okay. So this is implicitly a data structure, right? You're making a data structure that is, well, it would be a DAG, a directed acyclic graph, except every one of them, everything has one link that is cyclic, and that's the link back to the home. So as you're sorting and sorting and sorting, you can say, oh wait, this is in the wrong place. This is just in the completely wrong part of the hierarchy. So imagine your hierarchy is like the Dewey Decimal System, and you're in a library, and you moved it to the section that's about science, and then you moved it to the part of that shelf that's about, you know, geology or whatever, chemistry. And then you see on that chemistry shelf, there's a book about the history of Great Britain, right? So it's in the completely wrong place. So you have to send it back to the top of the tree. And so that's the idea. So it's a tree that you can. I actually called it a fountain data structure at one point because it's like, you know, some fancy fountain that has like, splitting water going everywhere, but then it goes back down the drain and comes back up to the top. So, anyway, that's the idea. You can always reset the ordering by sending it back to the back of the line, basically, back to the very top inbox. So in theory, if I click here, there should be a link to home somewhere. Yeah, it's always this one, this home one. I guess you can probably delete it, but so we should say if it exists, then all right. So to the link back to the home pile, if it exists, if present. And the idea is because home is not in, like, every item, every document is in a pile except for home. Home is the root, so that the query will never find the when we query to find the list of things that are on this page, we will never find the link back to home. So we have to manually update that part. That's the idea. Okay, and also they don't. The scene does not know. The scene doesn't have information that says what the text is. So in order to render the scene, we look at these columns Y, W, C, H, and X to put the boxes and figure out what color they are and whatnot. But all we have is the ID without this O, and so we have to look in the text. We have to look in O text to find that. Oh, that is a nested dictionary there. That's where you actually use at. So we'll look at scene at O at text. All right. So if present, present, so we can display its text, because otherwise it wouldn't know. You want to? But right, because this is home. So if we look at a different one, then there should be a list. So one of these, if we find one that's a pile, and we take this ID, we get the string and we copy it. Okay, I guess I have to. Then, and we put this here. So now when we run this, we'll get the whatever that pile was. A house. Okay? The stuff to do on my house. And then, yeah, you can see there's ID home, but we don't know what the text is. And so if I ever wanted to decouple, well, basically I'd have, if I don't want to put a check in there that says, if name equals home, or if ID equals home, then draw this text, otherwise draw whatever's in text. It just makes it more uniform. Okay. So we know how to do this. That's it. So let's write that. So basically, if we did not fetch a couch ID or or home ID. Did I run this? I think I didn't run it yet. equals home ID. If false, then in scene at we should do this first, right? We should do this before that loop. Did I do this out of order? Is the code wrong? No. So you do this and then you do this. Okay. So I just did it in the wrong order. I recorded it in the wrong order. So so if false, then, or we could say not equals if true. In scene at home ID at no, sorry, put, and then a dictionary. So as dictionary. But the dictionary will have text and then home ID. So this has never actually happened. So maybe to do this, and then I'm not going to do this piles thing, but because this will be as a method. Okay. Oops. No, something did not understand items. So the block closure did not understand items. Oh, I'm missing this period here. Okay. So we've done the link. So we have a scene with these items here. And now it didn't work. And this one didn't get an O. This should be true. That is true. If it's true, in scene at home ID, put. So here we're adding the dictionaries, and here. All right, so what is in scene? Because in scene should have that. I Control G to browse that. This didn't run. Okay, now it ran. This time it ran. Well, did it? So it. I feel like that should work. Why is items two things? An item is a list of two things. In scene at home ID. Home ID is at home. But items doesn't contain home. Why am I confused here? What's happening? Makes no sense. All right, sanity check. When I go to this page, it said house, right? Like I was looking at house. One of these says house. You have two items in it and a home. Okay, maybe I'm doing something backwards here. In scene is all this stuff. This is all the stuff that's in the scene. Wait, what? For run query, I have two items. Okay. I feel like I'm okay. So there's my two items. I feel like I'm confusing myself by not running the whole thing somehow. There we go. That's what I expect. I should be. I should be looking for the. Paste this in here. Right. Okay. So these are the three things that are in the scene. There are two children. It should be in items. Items should have two children. Two things should be in items. If I browse that, I get two items. Yes, that's correct. And then the scene has three items. right? And the scene, right? None of them have an O slot, okay? Too many states? Yeah. I'm confusing myself here. Page couch is not equal to home ID. This is true. I wonder if I wonder if like I'm just fooling myself by not running everything, because like this looks right to me. Scene has an item called home. Oh, I'm hello, Keith Patrick. I'm doing this wrong. The left side is wrong. I'm joining items with items and not joining the items with the scene. So I have a bug in my code here. What did I do wrong when I ported that? Data items for each in scene DID equals D. Scene select. No, that's not. That is correct. I'll have seen if all right. Yes, the benefit of live is you get to watch me flounder over all the stupid mistakes I'm making. Something very obviously wrong. Something is just silly here. And it's can I return this context? Okay, so that doesn't work here. All right, well, let's make this a method. And then I can put well, maybe I can run the debugger here. Okay, self-help. I can just debug this. Okay, so. All right, so I can just hit this to debug and run all that stuff in the debugger. Maybe. I didn't know. I'm not seeing what's actually moving here. I see a red line here. Is this where I'm stopped? I think, and then step over. The red line moved or something. Okay. Okay, so really I wanted to put like a halt down. Make this in. I think I was just about to try this and then I didn't. First of all, this works, right? This is what should be. It should say text at home, right? As a dictionary, yes. Scene. This went in there. Okay, so this went into the scene. Oh, run to here. Okay, thank you, Andy. Smalltalk debugger is super powerful. I'm just not experienced with it, but pretty awesome. I'll do that in a second. Right, so I would expect that at this point, let's do that then. Okay, so make this bigger. I'm just looking at how it rewrote my code. Like it took out all the comments and it put a return statement here. Okay. So I want to go right here and run to here. To the cursor. Okay. All right. So I'm expecting items. You know what I think? I think I ported this exactly right, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in JavaScript, and I don't actually need it. I think this is a bug in the JavaScript code. Right, because yeah, this is wrong. The JavaScript code is wrong. So I'm porting a bug, and that's why I have a bug. I ported it perfectly. Okay, I just that's exactly what happened. So this is just not even necessary because it doesn't do anything, and I don't have a problem. So this is being compensated for on the other side, on the client side. And in fact, because I should be I'm not sure what should be different. Like I think this line is duplicated on the client side because otherwise how how could it work? Well, this is the client side. So, but in the drawing code or something, like draw scene. Where's the word home? Yep. Well, maybe that's part of it. So I'm like I have this duplication here. But it's not. Okay, wait, it doesn't matter. I could spend all night messing with this. It just really doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter why that code was there. I don't need to fix the JavaScript tonight. I just need to. I'm just going to mark this as a to-do and just expect this to be a bug in the rendering, and I'll fix it when I go to render the scene. Okay. So I wanted to make a method called getPileById. So so I wanted this to return items, right? Which I guess was this. Okay. So now I can right click on this and say, yeah, well, I just haven't worked on this in a while. So it's been like, I made this like a couple months ago in JavaScript, and I'm not really, it's not fresh in my mind. So I want to extract a method here, and we're going to call it getPileById. And if I run this, nope, that's not what I expected. But it's because I returned the wrong thing. I do not like this spacing. Ah, yeah, I completely rewrote my formatting here. All right. No. Right, and that is a comment because. And then we're going to say items do this stuff. And then we're going to return. Are we returning? We're returning the pile. All right, so yes, that's what I expect. Except this still doesn't have. It really should have an O in there. I don't know why it doesn't. I could put it in. If I have to put select. We don't know where this is here. Yeah, I put it in the dictionary. Yeah, there's O's here. Yeah, they all have O's. So that's what I'm doing here. This is left join. So I've got. I'm sticking. So I have the scene is saved without all. So it's not a relational database, and there's no referential integrity. So you have a list of IDs, and you say where they are in the scene, but you don't know if somebody has changed the text of that. Like so these are all the things in the scene, but like maybe someone in the database, someone else has gone into the database and changed this text. It kind of doesn't make sense because there's no cloning here, but like you could change that, right? And you don't want, I don't want to duplicate the text and both in its own document and in this document, because I'd have to keep them in sync. And so I just have the scene just has the IDs in them. And so when I go to render, I don't know what the text of the messages are. And so most of the time it just says, ID, whatever. Because I can query what are all the things on this in this pile. The pile is like a page. So what's all the stuff on the page? And it gets me these two things because those are all children of the page. But home is special. It's not a child of the page. It's the only thing that breaks the tree structure, right? Because the whole idea is it's a tree, except every node in the tree has a link back to the root, so that as you're sorting things, you can say this is in the wrong place, put it back, put it back on the library card. It's in the wrong section. I can't just fix it right now. I have to put it all the way back on the library card and take it somewhere else. So the home link, being able to drag something on here, would send it back to the start, back to the top. And for whatever reason, this it doesn't work. But like the intent was you would drop this on here and it would just go away. Like this little scrap or this little card would disappear, and then the next time you clicked on home, it would be over here. But for whatever reason, somehow that broke. Or I mean, obviously I broke it, but I don't know what that used to work. I don't know what I did. So that's the whole point of that. Is that this thing is special, and I had to adjust for that, but this does not seem to be what I did to fix it, because this doesn't make any sense, because I'm looping through the items, and I should be looping. Is my whole thing backwards? But what I really want to do is I want to loop through the scene. I want to say in scene do. But what does that do? I would expect that to be. No, I want to do tile at scene do. So now I'm looping through these items, and this is an array. So for each one, get the ID and seen at the ID if present. So yeah, this is the fix. It'd be pilot scene rather than I don't know how that. Okay, I run this now. Oh no, not found. Okay, hang on. Present. For each one of these, we have a dictionary. And then in scene at the at ID if present. Wait, what was the error? GS scene, what? That's wrong. P is GS scene. Why is the key GS scene? Where am I at here? Out at scene. Oh, scene is a okay. Yeah, right. The scene is a member of the. Out at scene in quotes. Scene is a variable on GS app. Run this now. Now it's taking forever, so something bad is happening. What is happening? It seems to be responsive, but this is. Okay. So this is glitched. But okay, now it works. So yeah, this says it's a left join, and but in the JavaScript I was looping through the the right hand side of the join, which is not how you do a left join. Okay, so but no, wait. And this is backwards. D at O put ref. Like everything was backwards about that. I'm almost wondering if I did like a right join and then on the I don't even know. Like the JavaScript doesn't make any sense, right? Because like this is not. I didn't. I have this thing commented out. So it doesn't. So okay, whatever. All right, undeclared temp. Yeah, this is what I expect. Okay, so add slot in home ID in PileUp app. What I want. Boom. And then home ID equals home. And we will also put that in an initialize. Initialize home ID is equal to at home. And we also want super initialize. Okay. Okay. There we go. Yes, that's what I want. Okay. Before it was the O contained this, which can, so it was like it was a self-referential data structure. Okay, so yeah, I clearly am either misunderstanding what I did in the JavaScript, or it just doesn't match my mental model of what should happen. So, oh, but this is still messed up. Is that? Oh, no, there's no way. I feel like so stupid right now because like, okay, I'm doing this is easy. This is an easy thing. I have a list of items. I have a scene that contains some, and I have the items. For every item in the scene, right? No, this is right. The D at this D at ID, but D is correct. So I'm looping through this scene. Oh, is it? What this really is just it should just be a list of IDs. It doesn't need to be a dictionary. Okay. So list of IDs. Oh, okay. But no, it is a dictionary because I want this dictionary. I want to put something in this dictionary. Okay, so yes, this is correct. D at ID, and we're going to map it to D. That is correct. We're going to collect the whole thing and then make it into a dictionary. So when I run this, this is exactly what I expect. So now it's going to loop through. This is the dictionary, mapping these keys to the actual data structures. Okay. That's these two lines. That gives me, that adds the home to that list in the scene. Then data items. Yeah, this just plain does not do anything in JavaScript. Because I think this is just unnecessary. Except I don't know how it. Ah. Like, I feel like it should be completely safe to. I had this right. I'm just completely confusing myself. Pilot scene doable. No. I'm wondering if I said. Name. FO equals B. Data items in D item. If ref. Did I mistranslate this line? No. I mean, like this is easy to fix. First of all, well, it's probably screwed up now, but ref is in scene at D. Yes, okay. And then items for each. This is actually wrong. Okay, so I really do want items. Loop through the items, and that's D, and I'm going to put in the scene, in the item in the scene. That's the ref thing in scene, you know, scene item, scene data. Give that a better name, scene data. If present, then we'll call it scene data. Scene data at O, put D. Now return pile. Wait, hang on. This is wrong. So if model ID is not equal to home, right, then in scene home dot o. Okay, yeah, I did not translate this. The JavaScript does not have a bug. This is the problem. Okay, so now we're mapping, we're mapping the in scene at home ID at put. Wait, in scene at home ID. Right, this is right. I didn't have this nested thing. Yeah, that's right. This is what I expect, and then this continues to work. Wow, that was a lot of nonsense. Okay. Well, sorry about that. I'm sure that was incredibly. D is the dictionary, yeah. I tend to be a little terse sometimes. Okay. Okay, wow. So now I have my scene. It's almost 11 o'clock. I've been at this. Man, this took me like. Wow, okay. I'll move ahead. Okay, so now to the fun stuff. And now I want to draw this. What do I do? So if I run PileUp app, I get this little canvas, so that, inheriting from GS app. So this is like GS is I call it Game Sketchlib for now. It's probably going to get a better name, but it's a tool for making interactive drawings and stuff. What do I do? I believe what I want to do is set the scene to be something, right? Well, this is probably wrong. This should probably have some side effect. So Game Sketchlib is a work in progress. It's something I made in processing many years ago, and I'm now porting it to or rewriting it in Pharo with this block and brick user interface. Okay, make start scene. Probably needs an access, but since this is a child, probably what I should just do for now is delete this. It doesn't do anything. Whatever's in the scene is already in. The make UI has already put that scene inside of something. This needs to do something, not power. Probably this should not be readable either. You should be able to access them, but you shouldn't be able to. You should be able to get them, but you shouldn't be able to set them. Okay. And I'm gonna save my work file. All right, so we go to Git, go to TS Pharo. We wait patiently for something to appear. And I'm just going to commit all this stuff. So PileUp, what did I do? I added our fetch a pile, and join items with scene into scene. And push that up to GitHub. This is GitHub Tangent Storm TS Pharo. TS Pharo. Okay, so that's all checked in, and I'll also save this so that next time I run this image, I don't have to reload all the code. Takes its time. Okay. So now I want to override this make start scene. And you can just put whatever you want in there, or actually I can, yeah, whatever. So if I click this actually makes a new version of it, so you can edit the code and click it every time and get a new copy of it. All right, so we'll this, and let's say make start scene, and we will return. What will we return? Super make start scene, and then add child I can't do it like that. I have to. So what I want to happen. Let's just draw the scene manually. So let's just get the scene. We can get the name later. So what's the issue? This isn't initialized now, so I don't need this. Don't need this. So scene, right? If I just inspect the scene, I should get this. Scene add child, and when I launch the app, I want it to load the home page. But when I launch, but then when I click on something, I want it to launch a new thing that is not the home page. So probably See, and it's not going to be an an inspector like this. So what I had done, so I learned how to add something up here. So I've added a thing over here called PileUp. When I click on this, it makes a new PileUp tab here. You see, it's not in an inspector. So whatever I make PileUp be, it's going to be in here. So what I should do is in this button, I should in the code for this button, I should change that to pick which scene I want to look at. So by default, it does nothing. Okay, hang on. Back. Why? Close this. Close this for a second. All right, so we'll make a method. We're gonna make a method that does something. So scene remove children. So this is when you go to a page, right? So remove children, and then we're going to right. So let's give this a we're gonna make something that's going to be a method here, and we're going to take a value called what? A couch ID. And so this is going to be navigate or open pile or load pile. Load pile. Right? So we're going to say self scene remove children. We don't even need that. We can say scene remove children. And then what do we do after that? Add child. So self get pile by ID. We're going to get this data that we just had. So we're going to take this data. So get pub a couch ID. And so then that gives us this. And so we'll say model is equal to this. So we'll store that. Oh. Model is part of block, I think. And GS app is a I think that's okay. What is model now? I think it's empty, right? Yeah, it's nil. So we can put whatever we want in there. So this actually is the model, right? This is reasonable. It's a reasonable thing to put in there. So self get pile ID by pile by ID a couch ID. Add child. I don't actually know if like you're supposed to put something particular in there, but I think you can just put any data you want. I could be wrong about that, and I may have to change this later. But so learning how block and brick all work. But add child, so it's now scene add child. I'm tempted to put a Mondrian in here because they. Well, no, because it's not just because it would handle the drag and drop for me, but let's just make for now. Just make a GS cell. That's just like a little box with something in it. GS cell for what? Okay, so we say model model at scene. Model at scene gives me this array. And for each one of these, I want to put an element on the screen. So model at scene do each. Maybe I want to make an object here, make a new class here. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do add child. We'll call it PileUp item element new for item for model. Is model? No, we have to say for item each. So we can create this new class. It's going to be BL element. Yeah. BL element. And then it's going to be in package PileUp. And give it some I guess that could just be the model. So that's not that doesn't have an accessor. Add child or item. Okay, so then we add this method in PileUp item or item a model or a dictionary. I actually don't know what it is yet. So, I mean, it's this, but item. So relocate. So we can extract these variables. So we'll say x, y, width, height, c, and x, y, width, height, and o. All right. So we could say self relocate x at y. So x is going to be item at x. Y is item at y. With all of these are the same. Maybe I could do something better here, but width, height. Size is going to be width and height. I don't need this. I don't need these params. Okay, so locate size, width, and height. Well, we'll worry about the color in a little bit. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything with C, and then O. So how about model equals O? And I don't need a variable for that. Then C is to do handle, set color based on style based on C class. Oh, model is not a. Okay, so we'll just say I'm not sure the right way to store that, but we'll just say text is this, or how about is what all is in here? Really, it's just the text and the timestamp. Item at O at text. I think that's the only thing I need. I'm trying to decide if I even need to save this. Because it's going to be. Let's just say data is item at O. We'll save the whole thing and add it as a slot for now. I probably will change that. Width and height, and then we're going to add child. And the text is going to be something as wrote text. And what is that something? The something is going to be, I guess, data at text as wrote text. Okay. I wonder if there's at do. Nope. And then we want to return self. Arguments count mismatch. Block accepts one argument was called a zero argument. Oh, so value for, oh my. Key not found, GSC. So once again, I have figured that out. That's what I want to see. So if I move all these over here, up here, and I run that again, it works. Oh, cannot add child that is already added to another element. Okay. The problem has something to do with this. Okay, so let's extract this as a method called aCouchID. We don't even need that part, just this. Extract method. Load pile, right? That's what I was going to call it. I just said that the name was aCouchID, and then I don't need this anymore. And hopefully that should be all. If I run this now, well, okay. Right now I put this here, and then all right, because it's the same thing. So home ID. Now I just run this. Get was set to nil. db get aCouchID. You telling me db is nil over here? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so self class new db self db load pile home ID, and I run this, and then that should give me a whole new one that is at the home page. Yes. And I run it again, it should still work. And if I move this stuff around over here, then these should move over here. I move them back down over here, then they should move over here. Right. So as soon as you move this, it sends a post and updates CouchDB. So that's what's happening. Okay, so that's fun. Okay. So when I made this button, I learned how to make these windows, and I don't remember exactly how you do it, so I'm going to click on that. So what I want to do is if if I click on if I click on one of these, it should navigate. So I want to do that. So if I click on Bex, it should spawn a new one of these that's pointing at Bex. Okay. So when I load the pile for item each, then okay, so let's browse this. And then we'll open it in a new tab up here. For item. Let's give these a background. So we'll say just background. Let's handle the color right. C equals item at C. So C, I guess we just do it like this. C equals, not really a switch statement. You use like a dictionary. But say C is equal to pile if true, then self background color gold. Okay, that's not a standard one. I think I have TS colors gold. My own little. Sorry, GS colors gold. Okay, so if I run this again, boom, those are gold. I'll clean up the centering and all, the padding and all that in a minute. A little bit. And get this actual color in there at some point. Hey, we got 4 people watching. Welcome everyone. Okay. So I actually have some code to like drag and drop things for not GSF. I mean, yes, GSF, but not GSF page. What is it? What am I looking? I'm looking for graph demo, right? GS graph demo. GS graph. GS sketch demo. Oh yeah, I don't know if I've shown this off either. I made a little browser here, but it actually doesn't show the sketch demo. Pointless. Anyway, this is the point. So not quite great yet, but you can select one thing and then move it, and the idea is obviously to be able to select a group of things and move them all at once. But there's some support for that, and you can do overlapping, test for overlaps. That's actually a different demo called GS overlap demo new. That's weird. Uh-oh, something's bad. It never syntax highlighted this, and okay. Oh, it worked. Okay. Yeah, so they highlight. I did this in a video a while. So we've got the drag and drop stuff ready to go. So that'll I'll be able to do the, drag on to do this, make something happen pretty easily. Okay, but first let's handle clicking. I want to be able to click on that and make something happen. So when I, oops. Yeah, so as rope text, and then text. We'll put it on the main thing. So we'll put it on this PileUp element. When BR click, BL click event. BL click event do. So first step, I'm just going to test it and just say self background equals red, color red. Make sure that works. I think it does. I'm almost positive it does. Boom. Okay, yeah, so that works. Now what I really want to do though is self text item at ID, because I still have that. I'm closing over that. So item at _ ID. Oh, right. So this child should self. Okay. So try it again. Run it again. Boom. Oh. Text. Oh, because I didn't say as rope text. I got an error. D as rope text. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So that's that number. What I really want to do is this. I want so link ID. Let's do this link. Oh, actually, let's do it out here. ID. We'll say ID equals item at _ ID. And I'll put it in here. So and it's not self class new, it's I'm really starting to think that maybe what I want is a PileUp scene or something that like encapsulates all this. Do I have 2 copies of this? I do. PileUp app new db. Oh. What I want to say is self parent on pile ID. So I need to add that class to, I need to add that method to this. on pile a couch ID, and then it's this. So load pile loads it in this thing, but in this view, and then spawn pile is going to spawn it in the flow. In I think it is PHLOW flow. This thing, a Pharo flow. PileUp app. That you know, I'm talking about this. They're called Miller columns. You click on something and you get a new thing over here, and you keep adding views. Okay, I think actually this is called a pager. Then the items, whatever. All right, so new. Okay, so I want to. Okay, let's a couch ID. This is not right. I want to click on this thing now and see again what this button does. So can I get, where is flow? So if I click on that and I say Control M, that will give me all the implementers of that. So every BL element has a flow. Right. So block has an extension method provided by G toolkit at flow element context on solve. Okay, so if I can get a flow from any element that's in the scene, I should be able to say self flow. I think, right? Oh. Instance of PileUp app did not understand flow. Why? Where did I just see that? Oh, all right. So scene flow. Right. Okay. So the I'm a little surprised that I'm. Maybe it is not picking up that it's in a flow because the scene is not. Hang on. Let me try this again. If the scene is in here, like once it's added to this scene, then it's part of the flow. So this should not be. I don't. Now I'm on the live view, and I click this. That's not what I expected. I expected this, and then when I click on this, I print that, it is there. Oh! Wait, what? What is happening here? I have two. Okay, these are not the same object. Right, yeah, they have different addresses and stuff. But these, okay, I was very surprised to see this pop up here, because I guess, yeah, I guess they're too. That's interesting. Because they don't, self is different, but the page is the same. So that's kind of surprising. Okay, whatever. I've lost track of. I wanted to get this, right? So if I print this, I get this over here. If I print this, I get same. Okay, I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we'll see. So somewhere I was editing a method called something or another on pile. All right, so self scene flow. And then again, what happens when I click this button? On object. Self scene flow spawn object. And then this. Okay. Press this one. I click on this one. I get this one. Let's even forget that. Let's just add the real thing. So move that and add a Pharo snippet. So I want to say PileUp. I want to say this. DB couch. Come on. Couch. Oh. Let's grab all this stuff. Big. Right, because the password is stored in this file. It would be nice if you could click on that and like make something happen, but this is just a dictionary, right? So rather than actually creating it, whatever. See, the problem is that I made a change to this app, so I can't use this widget anymore. I can spawn a new one by clicking here, but I want to spawn one from the start. So I'm just patching this up a little bit. So PileUp is this directory, and then config is this. And then couch is this. And then PileUp is I swear I pasted that once. Really didn't, but thought I did. And now I want to say load pile home. And again, I'm waiting on it to syntax highlight this. It's responsive, but it's there. There we go. Okay, so that's what I want. That's what I want to see. I'll just go ahead and copy that here. I don't think I need yourself here. Ah! Let's see if that works. It's getting really sluggish for some reason. Yeah, that works. Okay, so I'll have this here, but if I want to respawn it, I have this here if I need to respawn. You can just click above. But if you need to respawn, super sluggish. Is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. Perfectly valid syntax. It's taking forever to. Right. Yeah, the syntax highlighter is just running really slow for some reason. Maybe it's in its own little thread. I'm a little mystified. Oh, okay, something is definitely. Something is definitely going wrong. Hit the break. And this is not saved. This is the Leopard status icon right there. So when it turns green, it means it's saved. This is not responsive at all. I can't copy that, and the text is all up there. So maybe I'll count to 20, and if it doesn't do anything, I'm just going to kill it. And says it's very low memory usage, but it is locked up. All right, I'm gonna kill it. It says it's suspended. Okay, now that's it. It's gone. Okay. All right. Well, this used to be a deal breaker for me. I used to destroy like everything I had to redo the work. In fact, I had a crash one time on a stream, and I had to redo the work, but I've learned. Ooh. Okay. No idea why that came up. Let's bring this here. Okay, that's monitor stopped. Synchronized. Okay, I've never seen this before. Everything's good. Okay. So probably I need to click on changes because we're like back in a state that's doesn't say we're out of sync. So it's probably has my last commit in there, and then we don't have the changes from today. So we can see all the things that have changed, and we can say recover latest. Yeah, so this is all the stuff that's new from the since the last time I hit the save button. Basically, every time you change a method or a class, it saves it to this change list. So every change that happen, all these little diffs happen. You click recover latest here, it squishes them into the the latest and greatest. So when I click on this, it'll show me like what's changed, versus the current. So I just added that method, changed something about the way the class was defined. Oh no, it created the class, created this method, created this method. So then I just say, how do you use multi-select? Oh yeah, yeah. Apply. Am I done? I don't know. If the current. Yeah, so these are all. Yeah, I'm a little confused by this user interface, but the changes have been applied. So then this should tell me that I've got all these changes, and let's go ahead and check them in. Well, they don't work yet. We've got load pile, and we've got this. They kind of work. Let me get spawn. Well, since it crashed last time, let's just actually go ahead and commit it. So PileUp added load pile and start on spawn pile. I don't know if the code I wrote for spawn pile crashed this thing, but we'll see. I think I was just messing around in here. Yeah, I lost that little that thing. Let's have this in here. I'm gonna get rid of it. Well, let's go ahead and save before I press that button again. So refresh that. Close this. And then I wanted to put a Pharo in here. Okay, what? No idea what happened there. How this popped up. Okay. Sorry. Again. Pharo. What? This has nothing to do with me. There's a kind of weird issue here. Let's just close this. Close this. Open up a Leopard page. Okay, well, the thing disappeared. I didn't delete it. Okay, so let me look at the Git. I would expect to see a change in the Leopard database here. Okay. Okay, well, if I'm not mistaken, I had this all on my clipboard. Yeah. So if I say make an element, I think that's what I had that working. Boom. Run it. Refresh it. Okay. And then hide the code. I had no idea what happened here. The Leopard screwed up. This is a little bit buggy. This little code button, sometimes it just disappears. You should be able to toggle the code on and off, but sometimes it just randomly just disappears. So I think this snippet type is a little little wacky sometimes. Okay, so then I had tried to do this before. Syntax highlighter is very slow. And now that is synced. So if I run this, I should expect to see that. Okay, so somehow that's working again. That should be fine. I don't know what it is. Oh, because okay, so this should be dir. dir, because otherwise it, yeah. Okay. Good. And now when I click on Bex, what happens? It turns red and shows me the doohickey, and then it says it does not understand on pile. Okay. Actually, let's run that again, so I can just go directly to the code. For item spawn pile ID, self parent spawn pile. GS scene did not understand spawn. Okay. So I need to be able to reliably get back to the PileUp app, because that app has the reference to the CouchDB. And I don't necessarily know what the... I'm just going to store a reference to the app whenever I make the element. And that might be a little messy. But... okay, so I lost my PileUp app, what I actually want. PileUp element for item. And we'll add a, I'm just going to add a called app for now. And then we'll add it as a temp. Save it, so add. And then we'll say app if not nil, on pile ID app. Okay, and we can try it again. I think this is an instance where I have to refresh. Boom, perfect. Ah, that's awesome. That's what I wanted to see. If I click on home, it takes me to home. Click on channel, it takes me to channel. If I click on home, it takes me. This is all the stuff I'm supposed to be working on for this channel. If I click on back, that's awesome. See, now I have a flow. That's what all this was about. All right. Very, very cool. kind of an I definitely want to be able to do that, but maybe I don't want to do it every single time, right? Yeah, yeah, breakthroughs. All right, well, I'm gonna have to think about what I actually want to do here now that I can do this, but like this is working. So it is also almost exactly midnight. So in 1 minute it's midnight where I'm at. So I think I'm gonna call this a night. So thank you everybody for watching this, and awesome to have 4 people hanging out in the chat. It says average view duration of an hour. Is that awesome? For those of you sticking with me, I really appreciate it. And I don't know when I'll see you again, but maybe I'll have some time early in the day tomorrow, and then maybe Sunday night, and then I don't know. It's gonna be my schedule is very hectic, and usually my weekends are booked, but this week it's the opposite. So, all right, I'm gonna call it a night, and see you again soon. Thanks so much.